Good afternoon and welcome to the weekly agenda session of the South Carolina Public Service Commission. Let's take a roll call of commissioners to begin with. Present in the hearing room is Commissioner Caston, Commissioner Carolee Williams, Commissioner Belser. Joining us via WebEx are Commissioner Thomas and Commissioner Irvin, and joining us telephonically are Chairman Williams and Commissioner Powers. Please join me for a moment of silent reflection to begin. Thank you. Mr. Butler.
Thank you, Madam Vice Chair. Good afternoon to you and the Commission. At this point, the Commission normally sets their next business meeting, and staff would recommend that the Commission set the next business meeting for Thursday, May 5th, 2022 at 2 p.m.
Our next business meeting, regularly scheduled business meeting, will be Thursday, May 5th at 2 p.m.
Thank you, Madam Vice Chair. And with that in mind, I'd like to move into the utilities agenda for today. Item number 1 is under docket number 2003-81C. There's a request for approval of the Fifth Amendment to the interconnection agreement between Bell South Telecommunications, LLC, DBA AT&T South Carolina, and Granite Telecommunications, LLC.
Item number 1, this negotiated agreement. Commissioners, is there a motion?
Madam Vice Chair Belser.
Commissioner Williams.
Thank you. I move that the Commission approve the Fifth Amendment to the interconnection agreement between Bell South Telecommunications, LLC, doing business as AT&T South Carolina, and Granite Telecommunications, LLC.
Commissioners, you've heard the motion of Commissioner Williams. Any discussion or questions? Hearing none, we'll proceed to a roll call vote. Commissioner Carolee Williams.
Aye.
Commissioner Caston.
Aye.
Commissioner Irvin.
Aye.
Commissioner Thomas.
Aye.
Chairman Williams.
Aye.
Commissioner Powers.
Aye.
I vote aye. The ayes have it, and the motion carries.
Item number 2 is under docket number 2005-83A. Before the Commission today is consideration of a timeline for issuance of Commission orders and other administrative docket-related matters.
Item 2, Commissioners, is there a motion?
Madam Vice Chair, I would like to make a motion.
Chairman Williams.
Thank you, Madam Vice Chair. And once I make my motion, if I could be recognized during the discussion to give a few comments. Fellow Commissioners, I move that the Commission make its rulings in hearings no later than 45 days after receiving the hearing transcript. I further move that the Commission issue its orders no later than 90 days after the Commission makes its ruling. In the event that the Commission finds that some unforeseen circumstance has arisen that will make meeting the aforementioned deadlines impossible, I move that the Commission notify the parties in writing and to establish a new deadline. So moved.
Commissioners, we've heard Chairman Williams' motion. Is there discussion? Chairman Williams.
Thank you, Madam Vice Chair. Fellow Commissioners, as a public accountability measure, I think implementing this deadline is important. It's not to say that the deadline will eliminate the opportunity for the Commission to have internal procedures. I will submit to you that 135 days to render an order and decision may seem long, but this is a maximum amount of time. There's no reason that the Commission, and I would hope that the Commission would render a decision and issue an order before that timeline. But I think it's important to let all parties know when they can expect the order to eliminate the need to wonder about when such important matters that appear before us will be decided in a final manner. I think this public accountability measure is similar to the public information notice measure that we have in place. some changes that we made with our liable ex parte hearings, and also the ex parte communication measure that we took in addition to the law as written. So I think it's important for us to hold ourselves accountable and make sure the public knows when they can expect our final decisions and matters that appear before us. Thank you, Madam Vice Chair. Thank you, fellow commissioners.
Any other commissioners with questions or discussion?
Madam Vice Chair.
Commissioner Williams.
Thank you. Fellow commissioners, I thoroughly support the timeline and as a maximum, and the idea that the importance of timelines. I'm just personally more inclined to think that this is an eternal matter, and I will be voting against the motion based on out of principle. But I definitely support having deadlines as maximums and exceeding them when we can. And so I appreciate the effort and just wanted to explain my vote. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Williams. Commissioners, any further discussion? Hearing none, we'll proceed to a roll call vote. We'll start with Chairman Williams.
Aye.
Commissioner Powers.
I vote aye.
Commissioner Carolee Williams.
No.
Commissioner Caston.
Aye.
Commissioner Irvin.
Aye.
Commissioner Thomas.
Aye.
And I vote aye. The ayes have it. The motion carries. Mr. Butler.
Yes, Madam Vice Chair and other members of the commission, item number 3 is under docket number 2021-192E. And under that docket, today for commission consideration is a joint motion by a number of interveners requesting an amended procedural schedule and clarification of the scope of the proceeding.
Item number 3 regarding docket 2021-192E. Is there a motion?
Madam Vice Chair Belzer.
Commissioner Williams.
Thank you. I move that the commission clarify that the coal retirement docket as established in order number 2021-418 was established to develop a procedural schedule including the data, methodologies, analysis, and next steps for considering coal plant retirement within the framework of future IRPs via the 2020 IRP docket 2019-226E and order number 2020-832, including any statutory or regulatory deadlines that may need to be addressed. I'll note that this is not a docket for making decisions regarding the retirement of coal plants. As such, I move that we retitle this docket the Coal Plant Retirement Study docket. I further move that the Commission adopt the following modified procedural schedule to allow the interveners in the Office of Regulatory Staff to adequately respond to the Coal Plant Retirement Study and other related studies that will accompany Dominion's filings. First, Dominion Energy South Carolina files a coal plant retirement study, exhibits, and comments by May 16, 2022. This was previously established pre-filing deadline. Interveners and Office of Regulatory Staff file comments by June 27, 2022. Dominion Energy South Carolina may file reply comments by July 18, 2022. Interveners and Office of Regulatory Staff may file reply comments by August 1, 2022. This allows all parties the opportunity to provide comments regarding the proposed study, including its data, methodologies, analysis, and next steps. Finally, I move that we hold in abeyance the hearings currently scheduled for June 30th, July 1st, and July 5th, 2022. And Madam Vice Chair, I would appreciate an opportunity to talk a little bit about my motion.
Thank you, Commissioner Williams. Commissioners, you've heard the motion. We will proceed to discussion, but Commissioner Williams, if I could offer or ask for a clarification, if I could. I think when you were giving the schedule of times to file the study and comments, I think I heard you refer to that Dominion would file their coal plant retirement study. I just note that currently the docket is the coal retirement study, and am wondering if the word plant needs to be a part of that motion.
I included it as part of the motion because as part of my recommendation, I'm suggesting that
Okay.
I'm moving that we retitle that docket so it's clear that this is about the study.
That's fine. I just have been thinking of this docket without the word plant, and so I was just seeking clarification there. But thank you very much. Commissioner Williams, you're recognized.
Thank you. This has been an interesting and challenging question and motion. At its heart, I think the question is, what is the PSC empowered to do with regard to coal plant study, retirement studies? And it's my understanding that our role, per the statutes, is found only through the integrated resource plan dockets and process. Thus, my motion defines this docket as one to hold what I think may be South Carolina's first coal plant retirement study, along with comments from interveners and ORS in a very transparent and easily accessible manner. Some have questioned the purpose and the role of the docket, and for starters, I suggest that the transparency factor, as all stakeholders will have the ability to look at the data, the methodologies, the analysis, and the next steps in the process. And while this docket will not serve as the place for any decisions regarding coal plant retirement, the study and the comments can certainly be referenced as exhibits in the IRP dockets, creating a more robust IRP while making coal retirement study documents more accessible. Thank you, Madam Vice Chair.
Thank you, Commissioner Williams. Commissioners, any further questions or discussion?
Madam Vice Chair, this is Commissioner Irvin. I have some questions for Ms. Commissioner Williams.
Commissioner Irvin, please go ahead.
Thank you. Ms. Williams, thank you for your work in this docket. I know that you've worked hard to try to fashion a path forward. Don't we normally and historically use the stakeholder process as a way for the parties to consider suggestions and share comments? And the reason I'm asking that is it would seem to me it'd be inappropriate to file comments in an open docket. Those are typically handled at the stakeholder level, and comments would never be evidence. The only thing that we can consider during the IRP proceeding later is pre-file testimony and any exhibits that are marked and entered into evidence. And so I think that while I think your purpose, I understand what you're trying to do, and I have no problem with holding in abeyance the hearings that were previously scheduled for June 30, July 1, and July 5, because obviously the commission won't be ready to hold a hearing because the parties have not yet filed or pre-filed their testimony and exhibits. So first, let me say what I agree with. I agree with holding the hearing in abeyance at this time. I also agree with renaming the coal. I think it should be called the coal retirement docket. There's more than one DESC coal plant. So if you're going to call it, if you want to put plant in there, it needs to be plural, because as I understand the company's prior recommendations, it's my understanding that at least 2 of their coal-fired plants in South Carolina are under consideration for early retirement. So would you accept that as an amendment?
Just for clarification, you're suggesting that the docket be retitled Coal Plants Retirement Study?
Yes.
I accept that friendly amendment.
Thank you. Thank you. And then, so my next question is, if the parties go forward under the procedures that you've outlined in this motion, am I correct in understanding that if the parties need the commission's assistance in resolving discovery matters, or if the parties want to request a pretrial hearing or hearing on certain matters as it relates to methodologies of the study, could the commission hold a limited hearing for that purpose to move the process along in preparation for the IRP, which obviously I agree with you and others that any final decisions obviously have to be made during the integrated resources plan or after the integrated resources plan hearing is held and all parties have been heard and the record is closed. But if they're preliminary matters, don't you think it would serve the commission and the parties well if they at least had an opportunity to come before the commission and say, you know, we've seen the plan. We have some questions about it. We'd like to conduct some discovery and preparation for the IRP. And we'd like to serve some interrogatories and get some answers about methodologies used. And would the commission hear us on these issues? You wouldn't have any problem with that, would you?
Commissioner Irvin, this motion purposely does not answer that question. What I feel is that is a question that we need to resolve in the future when we see what's in this docket. Some of my philosophical perspective is that this is new territory for us, and I don't know enough to know whether such a hearing might or might not be necessary. But if there is a hearing considered, it has to be very narrowly focused.
Well, I think it would have to be, of course. But as I read your motion, it seems to perhaps exclude even the possibility that we would ever have a hearing or a pretrial hearing to move the process along in preparation for the integrated resources plan. And I don't want to preclude us from having that opportunity. And, you know, I have a good friend that I talk with often, and he reminds me from time to time that we have to be aware of our situation. He calls it situational awareness. And it kind of, sometimes it helps ground me in terms of my thinking. And so my question is for you, where are you sitting right now?
I'm going to ask you a question. Where do you see in this motion that precludes a hearing?
I'll answer that, but you answer my question first. Where are you seated now?
I'm in the Public Service Commission hearing room as a commissioner to make decisions like this.
Correct. That's exactly right. You and the other commissioners present are in a hearing room. It's not a suggestion room. It's not a comment room. It's a hearing room. And if we're going to have a docket, we have to anticipate at some point in time there may be a need for a hearing. And so I don't want to preclude that. If you tell me that if the parties come back after they've read the study and gone through discovery, if they have legal issues that need to be addressed, if you tell me we can do that, I'll vote for your motion. But if it's just a suggestion box, I've been in almost every courthouse in the state, both state and federal. I've never seen a suggestion box in a courthouse. It's just not a part of the process. So that's my concern.
Commissioner Irvin, I'm going to go back and say what I said before. I do not believe that there's anything in my motion that precludes a hearing. I do think we're in uncharted territory. I think that we have to be focused on the contents and how the study is created, and that's the only element that we would ever hear anything on. And I believe that can't, I don't want to preclude it, and I don't want to give an open, I don't want to express any confidence that we would have a hearing. I think it's, but let me finish. This is, I don't know. And if I don't know, I definitely didn't write this with the intention of precluding a hearing, but I also absolutely did not write it with the intention of anticipating a hearing. I think it's ambiguous, and we can determine that at a future date.
As long as you're not precluding it, as long as you're willing to listen at the appropriate time, should we need to consider a hearing, I'm going to vote in favor. Now that I understand your intent, I'm going to vote in favor of your motion.
Well, if there are words that made you think it was precluded, then please tell me where they are.
Well, here's where it is. If you look in, let's see, the 7th sentence down from the top, and I quote, "This is not a docket for making decisions regarding the retirement of coal plant." I think you meant plants there.
Yes, I did say plants as I read the motion.
Okay. I would ask that you change that to "This is not a docket for making final decisions regarding the retirement of coal plants." If you'll insert final, I'm in favor of your motion. Otherwise, I think it would preclude us from making any decisions.
Well, let me suggest that it does not, because this docket is entirely about the study and not a decision up or down about the retirement of coal power
That's right.
plants. And that
agree on that.
that sentence is exactly, it really says what I just said. This is not a docket for making decisions regarding the retirement of the coal plants. It is a docket, and maybe I could add an affirmative sentence which says it is a docket about the components, the study components associated with making rational, logical decisions for providing safe and reliable energy. But
Well, I think that we need clarity, and if you're not willing to make that amendment, I can't vote for your motion. I'm sorry. I just think that it precludes us from ever coming back. It turns it into a trial or a hearing docket into a suggestion box. And as I say, you're seated in a hearing room, not in a conversational setting with stakeholders. You're there to make decisions. So that's what we would be doing if we were asked to do so. So I don't want to preclude that opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Irvin. Commissioners, any further discussion?
Vice Chair Belzer, may I be recognized?
Chairman Williams.
Fellow commissioners, I appreciate the hard work and effort put into not only the motion, but in trying to figure out a path forward with where we are in this particular docket. I've heard everything that has been said. I'd like to offer some observations. I think that Commissioner Irvin has highlighted questions that any lawyer probably would have as related to this motion. And really the ultimate question is, what's the ultimate result? What are we doing here? Why does this docket exist? And from my perspective, the docket exists to give the company and the interveners and ORS opportunity to work through this issue, file comments, whether those comments or questions for clarification, questions for more information, whatever they may be. And it is reasonable to foresee that there may be a difference of opinion about a methodology, about information presented, whether or not there's enough information presented for interveners to follow the process, if you will. We've heard such in matters before us where it seemed as if parties had different definitions of exchanging information and how much information should be exchanged. And so it is pretty, with all due respect, it's pretty obvious that at some point in matters so contentious that the commission may be called upon to make some level of decision, whether that's a motion to compel, a motion for clarification, some level of decision. And so, to me, that's foreseeable. What makes me comfortable with this motion is that it appears to me that the motion eliminates any possibility of the commission making any final or ultimate decision regarding whether or not the coal plant retirement study is the most prudent and most reasonable means of the utility generating energy and meeting its capacity needs. That decision should be made in the IRP, in my opinion. I think among the many reasons this docket was open, if I'm not mistaken, there were issues or questions about the process of stakeholder engagement, or it maybe even rise to a level of discovery. Again, the exchange of information. And so we know when we go through the complex matters that appear before us, whether it's IRP or what it calls, so forth and so on, this is complex information. And if you don't have the necessary information to follow along with the studies, to offer comments about the methodology, the inputs, and so forth and so on, it's hard to have meaningful input, no matter what side you're on. And my hope for this docket is that we can get through the process of completing the study where everyone can follow along and understand what happened, how it happened, why it happened. And even at the end, if there's disagreement as to the outcome, at the very least, everyone had access to the same information to reach whatever conclusion they find appropriate. That said, there is, considering how contentious some of these matters have been, and maybe that no longer exists, but if the past is any indicator of the future, it's possible there's going to be some level of disagreement. I'm comfortable addressing a disagreement relating to discovery or relating to the exchange of information or clarification for information and so forth and so on. But I am not comfortable making some ultimate determination about the study outside of the IRP. And so I think that Commissioner Williams and Commissioner Irvin are saying the same thing, but they're just saying it differently. And those are my observations I would like to offer to my colleagues. Over.
Thank you, Chairman Williams. Any further comments, discussion?
Madam Vice Chair,
Commissioner Caston.
I support the motion as read. I guess my deeper concern would be relative to having hearings on studies or such as that, is we do have hearings that statutorily we're to have relative to IRPs, things such as avoided costs. But my concern would be that in those processes, there are various and sundry studies and information that are involved with those. And I do not personally feel like it's appropriate to have hearings for every study that may or may not be performed in an IRP, avoided cost, or anything else. So again, I support the motion as read, and I certainly support stakeholder process and also support the ability of folks to have time to review studies. But outside of that, I don't really feel too comfortable going much further than that. All that said, if we're ready to vote, I'm ready to vote on the motion as read.
Thank you, Commissioner Caston. Anything else? We'll proceed to a roll call vote. Commissioner Williams.
Aye.
Commissioner Caston.
Aye.
Commissioner Irvin.
No.
Commissioner Thomas.
Aye.
Chairman Williams.
Aye.
Commissioner Powers.
Aye.
And I vote aye. The motion carries and passes. Mr. Butler.
Yes, thank you, Madam Vice Chair, members of the commission. Moving on, staff would recommend that item numbers 4 and 5 be taken together. Both refer to a change of law firms on behalf of counsel. R. Taylor Spear Esquire now works with Fox Rothschild LLP, and he's asking the commission to note that in the commission's record. In number 4, on behalf of Alder Energy, he is asking that it be noted in some 6 dockets. And in number 5, he's asking that Fox Rothschild LLP affiliation be noted on behalf of Vote Solar in some 3 dockets.
Commissioners, regarding items 4 and 5 on the utilities agenda, is there a motion?
Madam Vice Chair,
Commissioner Thomas.
thank you. I move that the Commission Clerk's Office note in the document management system that R. Taylor Spear Esquire is now employed by Fox Rothschild LLP in item numbers 4 and 5 as listed by Mr. Butler.
Commissioners, you've heard the motion of Commissioner Thomas. Any questions or discussion? Hearing none, we'll proceed to a roll call vote. Commissioner Thomas.
Aye.
Chairman Williams.
Aye.
Commissioner Powers.
Vote aye.
Commissioner Williams.
Aye.
Commissioner Caston.
Aye.
Commissioner Irvin.
Aye.
And I vote aye. The ayes have it. The motion passes. Mr.
Item-
Butler.
Yes, ma'am. Item number 6 is under docket number 2022-4-G. It's the annual PGA case for Piedmont Natural Gas Company. The company is asking to remove certain counsel from the service list in the case.
Regarding item 6 on the utilities agenda, is there a motion?
Madam Vice Chair,
Commissioner Caston.
I move that the Commission grant the request of Piedmont Natural Gas Company Incorporated to remove from the service list T. Richmond McPherson III, Esquire, James H. Jeffries IV, Esquire, and the firm of McGuire Woods LLP as counsel for that company in this docket. So move.
Commissioners, you've heard the motion of Commissioner Caston. Any discussion or questions? Hearing none, we'll proceed to a roll call vote. Commissioner Caston.
Aye.
Commissioner Irvin.
Aye.
Commissioner Thomas.
Aye.
Chairman Williams.
Aye.
Commissioner Powers.
Aye.
Commissioner Williams.
Aye.
I vote aye. The ayes have it. The motion passes.
Item number 7 is also in docket number 2022-4-G, Piedmont Natural Gas PGA case. We have before the commission a verified application for admission pro hoc vici of counsel.
Regarding item 7, is there a motion?
Madam Chair,
Commissioner Irvin.
I move that the commission approve the verified application for admission pro hoc VC of Melinda L. McGrath Esquire, filed on behalf of Piedmont Natural Gas Company Incorporated. So moved.
Commissioners, you've heard the motion of Commissioner Irvin. Any questions or discussion? Hearing none, we'll proceed to a roll call vote. Commissioner Irvin.
Aye.
Commissioner Thomas.
Aye.
Chairman Williams.
Aye.
Commissioner Powers.
Aye.
Commissioner Williams,
Aye.
Commissioner Caston,
Aye.
and I vote aye. The ayes have it. The motion passes.
Item number 8 is in docket number 2009-411G. This is the Piedmont Natural Gas Company request for approval of energy efficiency programs. There is a motion to withdraw one council and substitute another council in this place.
Regarding item 8 and the substitution of counsel, is there a motion?
Madam Chair, I'd like to make a motion. This is Dalton Powers.
Commissioner Powers,
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move the commission grant the motion to withdraw Scott M. Tyler, Esquire's counsel for Piedmont Natural Gas Company Incorporated, and to substitute Jasmine K. Garner, Esquire's counsel. So moved.
Commissioners, you've heard the motion of Commissioner Powers. Any questions or discussion? Hearing none, we'll proceed to a roll call vote. Commissioner Powers,
Vote aye.
Commissioner Williams,
Aye.
Commissioner Caston,
Aye.
Commissioner Irvin,
Aye.
Commissioner Thomas,
Aye.
Chairman Williams,
Aye.
and I vote aye. The ayes have it, and the motion passes.
Item number 9 is docket number 2022-83E. This is a complaint of Jeannie P. Brown versus Duke Energy Progress, LLC. Staff is presenting to the commission this afternoon for consideration Duke Energy Progress, LLC's motion to dismiss the complaint.
Regarding item 9 on the utilities agenda, is there a motion?
Madam Vice Chair,
Commissioner Thomas,
thank you. I move that the commission grant Duke Energy Progress LLC's motion to dismiss the complaint without prejudice. The complaint fails to make a statement of the nature of the relief sought as required by South Carolina Code Annotated Regs 103-824. Additionally, confidential treatment of the confidential version of the motion to dismiss and its exhibits should be granted pursuant to South Carolina Code Annotated Regs 103-804S2. The South Carolina Freedom of Information Act, South Carolina Code Annotated Section 30-4-10 et sequence, and the Family Privacy Protection Act, South Carolina Code Annotated Section 30-2-10 et sequence, on the basis that they contain customer-specific account information. So moved. And at the appropriate time, I'd like to make some comments, please.
Commissioners, you've heard the motion of Commissioner Thomas. Any questions or discussion? We'll recognize Commissioner Thomas first.
Thank you. First, I'd just like to say that for people representing themselves without an attorney, known as pro se litigants, navigating the rules and regulations of the South Carolina Public Service Commission can be quite challenging. Determining what is required in a formal complaint is complicated. Perhaps that was the case for Ms. Brown. However, without a clear statement requesting relief in the filing, the commission under law cannot render a decision. Therefore, dismissal is appropriate. I'd like to be clear, the dismissal is not based on whether or not Ms. Brown would be successful at a hearing, but rather the lack of relief requested in the complaint, which is required by law. That said, this decision is without prejudice, which means the complainant, Ms. Brown, has the right and opportunity to refile, and she is not prohibited from bringing a future complaint in this matter to the commission. I hope these comments help to clarify the situation for Ms. Brown.
Thank
That's
you.
all I had at this time.
Thank you, Commissioner Thomas. Commissioners, any further discussion or questions? Hearing none, we'll proceed.
Madam Chair,
Chairman Williams.
Commissioner Thomas, I just want to say I appreciate your explanation of that process, working with folks from all walks of life with various legal issues. You're absolutely right. There are many times that members of our community attempt to represent themselves in various matters, such as the pro se litigant in this case, and they may or may not have a firm understanding of their left and right limits. So I'm sure if the pro se litigant is out there listening or watching this matter, they have a better understanding of what happened and why, and I appreciate you sharing those sentiments. Over.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Chairman. Any further discussion? We will proceed to a roll call vote. Commissioner Thomas,
Aye.
Chairman Williams,
Aye.
Commissioner Powers,
Aye.
Commissioner Williams,
I vote aye.
Commissioner Caston,
Aye.
Commissioner Irvin.
Aye.
I vote aye. The ayes have it. The motion passes.
Madam Vice Chair, number 10 on the utilities agenda is made up of three dockets. Docket number 2023-15E, 2023-16E, and 2023-17E, which in total are the 2023 avoided cost proceedings to come before the Commission. These matters before the Commission today contain information on RFPs and various other administrative tasks, including scheduling, and Ms. Boyd is here with us today to discuss some of these matters.
Thank you, Mr. Butler. Ms. Boyd?
Yes, good afternoon, Madam Vice Chairman and Commissioners. The Commission in January of this year authorized the staff to issue requests for proposals for the three dockets that Special Counsels David Butler just mentioned to you. Procurement Director Matthew Hall is present today, and I think he has some responses or some information to provide you regarding the responses to the three RFPs that are listed on the agenda.
Thank you, Ms. Boyd. Director Hall, thank you for being with us today. I think you have some information to provide to us.
Yes, ma'am. Good afternoon, Commissioners. There were two offers submitted for each of the three solicitations that were issued relating to dockets 2023-15E, 2023-16E, and lastly 2023-17E. The two offers for each solicitation were London Economics International, LLC, and PA Consulting Group, Incorporated.
Okay. And am I correct, Director Hall, that this procedure today, you are here to just open the bids for us and advise us who the bidders are, but there's no further discussion on those bids right now. Is that correct?
That is correct, Madam
Okay.
Vice Chair.
Thank you very much for handling this procurement for us and being here today to present us with the submittals that were received. Ms. Boyd, is there something else?
Yes, Madam Vice Chair, I just wanted to repeat the names of the vendors, if that's okay?
Go
The
ahead.
potential vendors for the production team in the back. So it's the PA Consulting Group Incorporated and London Economics International, LLC. The staff has prepared a proposed schedule to address issues such as public interviews, questions from parties in the dockets, 2023-15E, 16E, and 17E related to these the entities who've responded to the solicitations. And if I can ask Producer Purvis to please publish the proposed schedule that's on the document camera. Madam Vice Chair and Commissioners, this is a proposed schedule that staff wants to present to you regarding the responses to the solicitations that were received and opened by Director Hall. I can start with basically the third event on the published proposed schedule. So staff is proposing that questions from parties in those dockets regarding the responses to the solicitation
I'm
be
sorry,
provided by,
the third
I'm sorry, public information. You're right.
Okay. The third
Logically,
bullet.
that wasn't making sense to me anyway. How are they going to respond to something they don't know what to respond to? The public information regarding the responses that Director Hall has provided to us will be published on the PSC's docket management system no later than tomorrow, Friday, April 29th at 4:45 p.m. Then questions from parties in those dockets would be filed with the commission in the dockets no later than the close of business on Monday, May 9th, 2022. Also on that date, questions from the commissioners for the prospective qualified independent third-party consultants would be issued in a hearing officer directive no later than the close of business on Monday, May 9th, 2022. Public interviews of the prospective consultants and experts would take place at a special commission business meeting on Wednesday, May 11, 2022. Feedback related to the public interviews from the parties in those dockets will be filed with the commission no later than close of business Monday, May 16, 2022, in addition to final written conflicts check letters from the prospective consultants and experts. Those letters would be filed no later than the close of business Monday, May 16, 2022. And then the commission could make a decision regarding the hiring of the consultant and experts or consultants and experts during its regularly scheduled commission business meeting on Thursday, May 19, 2022.
Ms. Boyd, I just want to clarify that by posting information on the docket management system by I believe that's tomorrow afternoon, those the information would be served on the parties to the dockets. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am. When we post dockets that are internally generated, our employees do electronically serve those documents on the parties in the docket. And it will also be available for those who have not intervened in the dockets yet. That information would be accessible if you are a subscriber to the Commission's daily activity report.
Okay. Thank you very much. Commissioners, any questions for Ms. Boyd? Do you need a motion on the schedule?
Madam Vice Chair, that would be helpful.
Okay, and the motion would only be on the schedule. It has nothing to do with the submittals tendered at this point. Is that correct?
That is correct, Madam
Okay.
Vice Chair.
Commissioners, is there a motion on the schedule presented by Ms. Boyd?
Madam Vice Chair Belzer.
Commissioner Williams.
Thank you. I move that the commission approve the 2022 proposed schedule to hire consultants and experts as described by Ms. Boyd.
Commissioners, you've heard Commissioner Williams' motion. Any questions or discussion of Commissioner Williams or Executive Director Boyd? Hearing none, we'll proceed to a roll call vote. Commissioner Williams?
Aye.
Commissioner Caston?
Aye.
Commissioner Irvin?
Aye.
Commissioner Thomas?
Aye.
Chairman Williams?
Aye.
Commissioner Powers?
Aye.
And I vote aye. The ayes have it. The motion on the proposed schedule passes. Director Hall, I'd like to thank you again for being here with us. You are welcome to stay, but if you have better things to do, you're welcome to leave as well.
Thank you. I think I'll be more productive also.
Thank you for your help.
Oh,
Mr. Butler.
yes, Madam Vice Chair and other members of the commission. The staff would like to carry over item numbers 11, 12, and 13 on the utilities agenda.
Items 11, 12, and 13 will be carried over.
Thank you, ma'am. The staff then is ready to move to the motor carrier agenda items for today. Item numbers 1 through 7 are all applications for Class C authority. Staff would recommend that these be taken together. I can review these very quickly for the commission's information. Item number 1 is docket number 2022-136T. It's the application of Tyrone Gadsden, DBA City Transportation and Taxi for a Class C taxi certificate. Item number 2 is docket number 2022-139T, the application of Cool Breeze LLC for a Class C taxi certificate. Item number 3 is docket number 2022-140T, the application of King Tide Elite Transportation LLC for Class C Charter Bus Certificate. Item 4 is docket number 2022-145T, the application of Neighbor to Neighbor Transport Services LLC for Class C Stretcher Van Certificate. Item 5 is 2022-146T, the application of Keep Pushing Personal Care LLC for Class C Non-Emergency Certificate. Item 6 is docket number 2022-147T. This is the application of Rush Hour Logistics LLC for Class C Non-Emergency Certificate. And finally, item number 7 is docket number 2022-148T, the application of Lee's Classic Adventures LLC for Class C Charter Certificate.
Commissioners, you've heard the dockets identified by Mr. Butler for Class C certificates. Is there a motion?
Madam Vice Chair,
Commissioner Caston,
I move that the commission approve the applications for Class C authority as stated in items numbers 1 through 7 as listed by Mr. Butler. I so move.
thank you, Commissioner Caston. Commissioners, you've heard the motion. Any questions or discussion? Hearing none, we'll go to a roll call vote. Commissioner Caston,
Aye.
Commissioner Irvin,
Aye.
Commissioner Thomas,
Aye.
Chairman Williams,
Aye.
Commissioner Powers,
Aye.
Commissioner Williams.
Aye.
I vote aye. The motion carries and passes, and the ayes have it and the motion passes. Sorry.
Madam Vice Chair, staff would recommend that item 8 be carried over at the request of the applicant.
Item 8 will be carried over.
Thank you. Now, moving on to item number 9, we have the application of S&W Investments, Inc., DBA S&W Transport. This company requests cancellation of its Class C non-emergency certificate number 9202A.
Regarding item 9, which is a cancellation of a Class C certificate, is there a motion?
Madam Vice Chair,
Commissioner Caston,
I move that the commission grant the request of S&W Investments Incorporated doing business as S&W Transport to cancel Class C non-emergency certificate number 9202-A.
thank you, Commissioner Caston. Commissioners, you've heard the motion of Commissioner Caston. Any discussion? Hearing none, we'll proceed to a roll call vote. Commissioner Caston,
Aye.
Commissioner Irvin,
Aye.
Commissioner Thomas,
Aye.
Chairman Williams,
Aye.
Commissioner Powers,
I vote aye.
Commissioner Williams,
Aye.
and I vote aye. The ayes have it. The motion passes.
Item number 10 is in docket number 2022-65T. This is the request of U-Ride Services LLC for a 1-year extension of time to comply with commission rules and regulations.
Commissioners, you've heard the item identified by Mr. Butler. Is there a motion?
Madam Chair,
Commissioner Irvin,
thank you. I move that the commission grant the request of U-Ride Services for an extension until February the 24th, 2023 to comply with commission rules and regulations. So moved.
thank you, Commissioner. Commissioners, you've heard the motion of Commissioner Irvin. Any discussion? Hearing none, we'll proceed to a roll call vote. Commissioner Irvin,
Aye.
Commissioner Thomas,
Aye.
Chairman Williams.
Aye.
I'm not sure, do we still have Commissioner Powers on the line?
I vote aye,
Thank-
but that will be it.
Thank you, Commissioner Powers. Commissioner Williams.
Thank you.
Aye.
Commissioner Caston,
Aye.
and I vote aye. The ayes have it, and the motion carries.
Item number 11 is in docket number 2022-99T. This is the application of Cougar Moving Company LLC to amend its tariff.
Commissioners, with regard to item 11, Cougar Moving Company, is there a motion?
Madam Vice Chair,
Commissioner Williams.
thank you. I move that the commission approve the application of Cougar Moving Company LLC to amend its tariff.
Thank you. Commissioners, you've heard the motion of Commissioner Williams. Any discussion? Hearing none, we'll have a roll call vote. Commissioner Williams.
Aye.
Commissioner Caston.
Aye.
Commissioner Irvin.
Aye.
Commissioner Thomas.
Aye.
Chairman Williams.
Aye.
And I believe Commissioner Powers had to leave. Okay. Commissioner Powers not voting. And I vote aye. The ayes have it and the motion carries.
Item number 12 is under docket number 2022-111T. This is the request of Gentlemen Movers Incorporated to amend its tariff.
Regarding item 12 and docket 2022-111T, is there a motion?
Madam Vice Chair,
Commissioner Thomas.
I move that the commission grant the request of Gentlemen Movers Incorporated to amend its tariff.
Thank you. Commissioners, you've heard Commissioner Thomas's motion. Any discussion? We will have a roll call vote. Commissioner Thomas.
Aye.
Chairman Williams.
Aye.
Commissioner Williams.
Aye.
Commissioner Caston.
Aye.
Commissioner Irvin.
Aye.
And I vote aye. The ayes have it. The motion carries.
Madam Vice Chair and other members of the commission, item number 13 is under docket number 2022-106T. This is the application of Minuteman Movers LLC to amend its tariff to include a fuel surcharge.
Regarding the application of Minuteman Movers, is there a motion?
Madam Vice Chair,
Commissioner Williams.
thank you. I move that the commission approve the application of Minuteman Movers LLC to amend its tariff to include a fuel surcharge.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioners, you've heard the motion of Commissioner Williams. Any discussion? Hearing none, we will proceed to a roll call vote. Commissioner Williams.
Aye.
Commissioner Caston.
Aye.
Commissioner Irvin.
Aye.
Commissioner Thomas.
Aye.
Chairman Williams.
Aye.
Commissioner Powers not voting, and I vote aye. The ayes have it. The motion carries.
Item number 14 is docket number 2021-141T. This is a request of Dad Bod Moving LLC for approval of its revised tariff.
Commissioners, regarding the application of Dad Bod Moving, is there a motion?
Madam Vice Chair.
Commissioner Caston.
On March 17th, 2022, Dad Bod Moving LLC filed a request to amend its tariff to reflect an increase for its mileage rate from $1.75 to $2 per mile, and to increase the fee it charges $10 on all hourly rates. Dad Bod cites rising fuel cost and inflation as driving the need for the tariff changes. Upon review of that filing, it was discovered that there was a clerical error, which caused Dad Bod's Form E and H not to be filed with the ORS. After discussion with ORS, Dad Bod has now come into compliance and all filings have been made with ORS. Dad Bod now seeks two forms of relief: an extension of time, nunc pro tunc, to come into compliance with Commission rules and regulations, and for its request to amend its tariff. Commission Order Number 2021-602 granted Dad Bod Moving LLC authority to perform household goods moving service in South Carolina so long as it completed the certification process with ORS within 90 days. I move that we now grant Dad Bod an extension of time, nunc pro tunc, to come into compliance with Commission rules and regulations until April 20th, 2022. I note that by a letter dated April 20th, 2022, ORS indicated it has received Forms E in H from DADBOD and is not opposed to the retroactive extension of time. I also move that we grant DADBOD's request to amend its tariff to increase its mileage rate to $2 per mile and increase its hourly rates by $10. I so move.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioners, you've heard the motion of Commissioner Caston regarding the application of DADBOD moving for a tariff amendment. Any discussion? It's my understanding, based on the filings, that once DADBOD was advised that these filings had not been received by the Office of Regulatory Staff, that he was very responsive in curing and making sure that the filings did get to ORS. And I certainly appreciate the fact that he was concerned and acted expeditiously to correct something that was not his fault. So I don't know that correct is the right word, but to follow up and make sure that the matter was taken care of. So I think that speaks highly of him, and I appreciate the motion. Any further discussion? Hearing none, we'll proceed to a roll call vote. Commissioner Caston.
Aye.
Commissioner Irvin.
Aye.
Commissioner Thomas.
Aye.
Chairman Williams.
Aye.
Commissioner Powers not voting. Commissioner Williams.
Aye.
And I vote aye. The ayes have it, and the motion carries.
Madam Vice Chair and other members of the commission, that does complete the motor carriers agenda for today, and indeed all of the agendas before the commission for today's business meeting.
Thank you, Mr. Butler. Our next regularly scheduled business meeting will be Thursday, May the 5th at 2 p.m. However, I believe that there is already one special business meeting scheduled for Monday, and but otherwise we will see you next Thursday. Thank you all for your attendance and attention today, and this meeting is adjourned.